dear brothers and sisters, inshallah this will be a short khutbah because we're approaching time for Asr as well. We were talking about al-ihsan and how to benefit other people, benefit Muslims and non-Muslims, and even benefit animals, because this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from a Muslim. But today will be just a short comment on what is happening around us, what is happening, and we've all heard and seen what is happening in Haiti, and also just today as well in Asia and in Africa. They saw the eclipse of the sun, where it became, actually, if you look at the pictures, it looks like a moon, because the earth was between the moon was between the sun and the earth, and you look at the sun, everything went dark and it looked like the moon. How should a Muslim look and think about these kind of things? Of course, if any human being is hurting or in pain, just as a human being, you should try to help out, and you should try to. We talked about the ihsan before, that you should try to help. Even animals, you should try to help. So if someone is in disease or hurting or in pain, a Muslim always has to go for the rescue, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward. Prophet says, وَفِي كُلِّ ذَاتِ كَبِدٍ رَطْبَةٍ أَجْرٍ. In anything that is living, you get reward if you help. And من أحيا نفسا فكأنما أحيا الناس جميعا ومن قتلها فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. Whoever helps save one life, it is as if he has helped save all the lives of all human beings. And whoever kills one soul, it is as if he has killed everyone. So human life is always protected and sacred. This is one point. But to look at what is happening as natural phenomena and environmental changes, this is a wrong view. This is the materialistic view of people who do not know that there is a creator for the heavens and earth. And this is how we've been all taught in school, that we only talk to us about what causes an earthquake, what causes the eclipse, what causes a volcano. And they don't talk about the creator who controls all this. When you, for instance, look at the creation of a human being, we understand step by step how the embryo is created in his mother's womb, step by step. But this doesn't mean that no one created him. We know exactly when he's going to be born. We tell you the date, right? And now they tell you the date when the eclipse is going to happen. But does this mean that this human being created himself? Or that no one created him? Allah says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Were they created from nothing? Or did they create themselves? أَمْ خَلَقُوا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. Or did they even create the heavens and earth? Shaitan always blocks the human being from thinking beyond what is in his near sight. Human being thinks, the pressure in this part of the earth and the fighting of this level of earth resulted in this. They talk about what they're seeing and what they can measure. But who controls everything? Who controls your eyes that move? Who controls the blood that's in your circulation? Who controls the beats of your heart? Who controls every atom in heaven and earth? Who controls the sun? Who controls the moon? They don't talk about these things. So to disconnect the phenomena that we see from the doer, this is the view of the kuffar. The non-Muslims look like this. The atheists look like think like this. But the Muslim should always look at the Creator who did this, and should always think, why did this happen? Why did this Creator do this? And how can I learn from this? And how can human beings benefit and protect themselves from the dangers that surround them? We know from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and from the Quran that every disaster that happens to a human being, individual or community or country, every disaster is by the actions of the human beings. Allah says in the Quran, وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَيَعْفُو عَن كَثِيرٍ. Any calamity and any disaster that has happened to you, every individual. And do not think too good about yourself. Do not think that you are innocent. Something hurts you, or you are hit by a disease, or you're hit by a financial loss. Don't see, I'm praying 5 times a day. I'm fasting Ramadan. Look at the things you are not doing. And look at even the things you are doing, you're not doing them right. Allah says, everything that has afflicted you, individual or people in general, فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ, it is from your own doing, from your own hands. And on top of this, وَيَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ, and he says, you don't even know what I've already forgiven you for. There is plenty that you have not been held accountable for. This is only a small amount of what you are doing that you are being held accountable for. But if everything, وَلَوْ يَأْخِذُ اللَّهُ النَّاسَ بِمَا كَسَبُوا مَا تَرَكَ عَلَى ظَهْرِهَا مِنْ دَابَّةٍ. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to hold the people accountable for everything they're doing, مَا تَرَكَ عَلَى ظَهْرِهَا مِنْ دَابَّةٍ, nothing would be living on this earth anymore. So we have to know that what we are seeing is only a minute fraction of our own doing. It is not the full account for what we are doing. This is only a reminder. This is just like when your child does something wrong, you don't bring a gun and shoot him. What do? You maybe hit him on his hand. This is just like hitting your child on his hand. It hurts him a little bit, and that is all. This is just a reminder. Did you actually punish him for everything he's done? No, you didn't, but you wanted to remind him. Allah says in many ayat, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Disaster and damage and disease and everything bad that's in the earth and in the land and in the sea, this occurs بما كسبت أيدي الناس, by the doings of the human beings. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing this to give them a taste of what they are doing. They are doing something evil, you get a taste of some evil. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجَعُونَ. And why is that? That's for their mercy, so that they correct themselves in this life, because after death there is no correction. If you die in a state of kufr and you're running away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and He catches you by death, قُلْ إِنَّ الْمَوْتَ الَّذِي تَفِرُّونَ مِنْهُ, you are running away from death. Everyone's running away from death. When you have a disease, you always worry about yourself. You go to the doctor. فَإِنَّهُ مُلَاقِيكُمْ, you're running away, but it will catch you. No one has missed death and managed to run away forever. No one from the beginning of humanity. So, but if a human being dies in that state, he's running away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there's no correction. And then the punishment over there is nothing to compare to what is happening in this earth. Nothing. Yeah, Allah says, وَلَعَذَابُ الْآخِرَةِ أَشَدُّ وَأَبْقَى. There's no comparison. It is much longer, and it is forever if you do not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger. And it is much more severe. How more intense is the hellfire compared to our fire? 70 times stronger, right? And look at, if you read about the azab in the akhirah, it is unimaginable. We cannot imagine it by our parameters of this dunya. So it is best for the human being to be corrected in this life than to meet his fate in the hereafter. That is one point. So this is for the mercy of human beings, and for the ibrah of the people who are not afflicted. Other people look at this. When your father, for instance, you have your two brothers, and your brother did something wrong, and you were thinking about doing it, the same bad thing, and he hits your brother in front of you hard. Then you say, I'm not going to do this, because my brother was already punished for this. This is the same kind of thing. We look at what happens to people, and we have to know that we have to take the ibrah and maw'idah from that, so that it doesn't hit us. And this is exactly what the Prophet ﷺ used to do and tell the people to do. Prophet ﷺ, when the eclipse, just the eclipse, not an earthquake, happened during his life, and it just happened on the day of the death of his son Ibrahim. Ibrahim died that day, and the eclipse happened the same day. People were thinking this might be something supernatural happening because of to show them like a miracle for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam does not need to claim miracles that were not given to him, because he has so many miracles that were given to him already. So he wanted to correct the people's belief. He said to them, إن الشمس والقمر لا ينكسفان لموت أحد ولا لحياته. He said the eclipse of the moon or or the sun does not occur because of the death of a human being or the birth of a human being. It has nothing to do with the death or birth of a human being. If Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was not a true prophet, he could have used this event for his favor. But he only delivers the truth to the people. He told them this has nothing to do with the death of my son. And then he says to them, لَكِنَّهُمَا آيَتَانِ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ. But these are signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يُخَوِّفُ اللَّهُ بِهِمَا عِبَادَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns His servants and His slaves by these ayat. If we look at it this way, then we know that humanity in general is not in the right path. Especially these areas that were hit, they were far away from the right path. And if you look at, for instance, what is happening in Haiti, what kind of religion do they follow? What kind of religion? Does anyone know? Mostly they practice something called voodoo. It is all related to worshipping spirits and worshipping gods other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They believe that the one creator of the heavens and earth has nothing to do with the affairs of human beings. And they have a name for that one creator. And they say, okay, what do? We have many other, numerous creators and gods that we worship instead of Him, because they intervene with the affairs of human beings. If they had worshipped the one creator who actually controls everything regarding the affairs of the one human being, would have been a different story. But calamities don't only hit the kuffar, they hit the Muslims even harder. And if we look at 50,000 people or 100,000 people in Haiti, how many people died in Iraq? In the order of millions. Millions died. Inshallah, I'll finish in the second point. Disasters in general, as the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ told us, will hit Muslims more in this life than non-Muslims. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, إن أمتي هذه مفهومة ليس عليها عذاب في الآخرة عذابها في الدنيا بالفتن والزلازل والقتل. He said, my ummah, my nation, my followers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed His mercy upon them. Bestowed His mercy? How has He bestowed His mercy? He says, ليس عليهم عذاب في الآخرة. The punishment, the main punishment for the wrongdoings of Muslims is not in this, and not in the hereafter. Because if you are a Muslim, eventually you will enter heaven, even if you are punished for a short period of time or for a period of time in hellfire based upon your sins. But eventually you will land, if you have a firm belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger and His book, you will land in heaven. So the main punishment for the Muslims is not in the hereafter. ليس عليها عذاب في الآخرة وإنما عذابها في الدنيا. Their main punishment is in this dunya. And is this good for them or bad for them? As I mentioned, it is good for them because it helps correct their path. It helps them rectify their conduct. And this is the time where you can correct yourself. In the hereafter you cannot correct yourself. And how is that punishment? He says, بِالْفِتَنِ وَالزَّلَازِلِ وَالْقَتْلِ, in the form of killing and in the form of disasters such as earthquakes. So he mentioned that. So don't think this doesn't happen to Muslims. Muslims are afflicted more. And don't say, the killing that happened in Iraq, that's by the doing of human beings. The doing of human beings is also under the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look at the hypocrisy. These people who claim to be the nicest and the most merciful people on earth, and if you look, the United States has sent 10,000 troops to Haiti to help out. This is good. Let's look at the double standards and look at the hypocrisy. Don't show the whole world that you are the most merciful and you're helping out the people who are afflicted by calamities. Look at the calamities that you are doing with your own hands all over the earth. Millions were killed in Iraq. Almost 1 million killed in Afghanistan so far, by their own hands. So how come you can kill millions over here and then claim that you are sending troops to help over there? Aren't these human beings? But these are human beings. These double standards. And this is just propaganda. They want to look good in front of you. And look, they don't send just civilians to help out, they send troops. Why is that? They want their troops to look in front of the world that they are the most merciful. How about the millions that were killed in Iraq? Where's the mercy for them? One bomb killed, can destroy a whole village. One of their bombs destroys villages. And we've seen, where are the millions that were killed in Vietnam? Where are the millions that were killed in Japan? How come now you're showing your mercy? Where was your mercy before that? So we have to look at these things. In general, as I mentioned before, punishment in this dunya for the Muslims is usually stronger because that's for their benefit. punishment for human beings in general in this dunya is for their benefit, so that they correct themselves. Punishment in the times that have passed were more rapid. Like people do something and even do less than what people are doing these days, and they get punished more swiftly than these days. People nowadays are doing much more evil than they used to do in the past. But why is that? Scholars say that because people in the past were closer to come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were easier to remind. And that is why the punishments were a reminder. وَمَا نُرْسِلُ بِالْآيَاتِ إِلَّا تَخْوِيفًا, to remind them. But now, regardless of what happens, all this that has happened, and people are still explaining it by worldly matters and worldly affairs, and there's no mentioning whatsoever that there's a creator who controls everything, and that he's reminding all of humanity that they have to go back to him, and that he is still and will be always in control of everything, and they should believe in him.